You suspected that Amber was having an affair with James Franco, correct?
Yes.
You changed the locks to the penthouses on May 22nd, 2016.
I attempted to.
That's why you felt comfortable having James Franco over the evening of May 22nd, 2016, Ms. Heard?
I do not know when James came over.
Okay, let's remind you.
Amber Heard has also finally spoken up about her romance with James Franco. Amber Heard, the ex-wife of Johnny Depp, recently lost a court trial where the verdict was announced against her. Amber Heard has levied a number of serious allegations against Johnny Depp, and according to the British court, the Pirates of the Caribbean stands corrected in his side of the story. It was due to this trial that Amber Heard's romantic affiliation with James Franco also became public knowledge, and fans have never been more interested. So what did Amber Heard have to say about James Franco, and where do things go from here? Let's have a look at this video. Here's what a Twitter user had to say regarding this situation. 4 weeks into this case, I remain struck by how few people seem to know the basic facts involved. Here is Amber Heard describing the incident where Depp accused her of sleeping with James Franco. Mega trigger warning for abuse. A jury has decided Amber Heard defamed her ex-husband Johnny Depp by referring to herself as a public figure representing domestic abuse in the 2018 opinion piece following a 6-week trial that captivated the internet. 7 jurors in Virginia's Fairfax County Circuit Court ruled heavily in Mr. Depp's favor, awarding him $15 million in total damages to compensate for the Washington Post article's impact. Mr. Depp has declared triumph, claiming that the ruling has restored his life. Ms. Heard, who will receive $2 million in compensation, has called the ruling a setback for women. Both parties aired a tangle of abuse charges during the trial, each claiming that the continuing legal squabble had harmed their individual professions. The jury, on the other hand, reached a unanimous decision. The relationship between Amber Heard and James Franco was brought up during her defamation trial with Johnny Depp on May 17, 2022. Camille Vasquez, Johnny's lawyer, used security footage from the night before Amber filed for divorce to cross-examine the Aquaman star.
That's you and Mr. Franco on May 22nd, 2016, right, Ms. Heard?
That's correct.
Referring to the footage captured on May 22, 2016, Heard replied, "That's correct." Camille further interrogated the actress, and it's past 11 p.m. at night.
You knew Mr. Depp was out of town the week of May 21, 2016, didn't you?
I don't know what I knew of his schedule at the time.
However, Amber denied that she knew of Johnny's schedule. Amber was said to be having an affair with her next-door neighbor, James. Amber went on to explain the genuine relationship between her and James Franco during the trial, in which Johnny is suing his ex-wife for $50 million over the publishing of a 2018 op-ed in which she represented herself as a victim of domestic abuse. What was Amber Heard's relationship with James Franco like? Amber confirmed that her and James' connection was entirely platonic. He was my friend, and he lived next door, quite literally next door, and I had frankly exhausted my support network with my usual friends and was happy to welcome as much friendship at that time as I could possibly get. However, she expressed that Johnny has a disdain for the disaster artist actor. He hated James Franco. He was accusing me of having a thing with him in the past since we had done Pineapple Express together, Amber said on May 5th, 2022. The Danish girl actress then explained that Johnny would get jealous easily when it came to Amber and her co-stars. I had spoken to Johnny. I'm in Boston, he's in New York. He had already been upset at me and accused me in many arguments about not telling him about scenes I had. If I had a kissing scene, any sort of romantic scene, and I wasn't explicit about what I was going to do, I was accused of hiding information from him. She went on to say what the Pirates of the Caribbean star did after learning about the scenes. I didn't want the fight, of course, but I had to kind of eggshell, tiptoe around how to tell him when I had any sort of scene like that, and I did tell him on this occasion. He was upset with me, but he didn't sound coherent on the phone. He was yelling at me, "How could you? How could you tell me this when I'm filming this scene when I'm working? How could you just tell me this?" He explained when I told him as soon as it was relevant. It was as if I had confessed to him that I was having an affair. He started to sound less connected to reality as these arguments would happen on the phone. After Amber Heard penned an op-ed in the Washington Post in 2018 regarding domestic abuse, Johnny sued her for defamation in 2020. Though she did not name Johnny, it was assumed that the claims were directed at him. She was married to him from 2015 to 2017. In court, Johnny claimed that the op-ed harmed his career and caused him to lose roles such as his role in Pirates of the Caribbean. Their trial began in April 2022 and has received a lot of media interest. The trial is scheduled to end by the end of May 2022. As of the writing of this article, many of Johnny's ex-wives, including Winona Ryder, Vanessa Paradis, and Jennifer Grey, have spoken out about the allegations. A source close to Johnny told Hollywood Life in May 2022 that the actor is extremely grateful for his fans being so vocal on social media and in person throughout this entire case. It has given him a renewed energy to keep fighting for what he feels is right. The jury faced the complicated task of determining if several statements published in the media were defamatory to either Mr. Depp or Ms. Heard. They compared more than 100 hours of frequently emotional testimony to documentary evidence such as images, audio recordings, and films. Mr. Depp sued Ms. Heard for $50 million, and she countersued him for $100 million after his lawyer told journalists that her claims of physical and mental abuse were a fiction. Amber Heard, dressed in a blue suit and flanked by cops and journalists, came down the stairs of a courthouse. Amber Heard issued a brief statement following the judgment. She said she was heartbroken that the mountain of evidence still was not enough to stand up to the disproportionate power, influence, and sway of my ex-husband. The jurors had a series of questions to answer, including whether statements made by either side were false and made with actual malice, the threshold required to prove a form of defamation known as libel. Actual malice means a person knowingly made a false statement or acted with reckless disregard for the truth. The jury decided in Mr. Depp's favor on all of his claims, which were based on numerous sentences in Ms. Heard's op-ed titled, "I spoke up against sexual violence and faced our culture's wrath. This has to change." He was given $10 million in compensatory damages, including loss of income, as well as $5 million in punitive damages to punish Ms. Heard. Punitive damages, however, are limited to $350,000 under Virginia law, so he will receive a total of $10.35 million. Only one component of Ms. Heard's counterclaim was found to be defamatory. Her claim that she was defamed when Mr. Depp's lawyer said she roughed up their apartment before calling the cops. She received $2 million in compensatory damages, but no punitive damages, because court procedural regulations are designed to prevent persons from retrying the same case. Ms. Heard is unable to file a new defamation claim based on anything that was asserted in the lawsuit. She might file an appeal based on a specific issue, such as the amount or distribution of damages or a judicial impropriety. What does this mean for both characters? Mr. Depp was not present for the verdict, as he had made a surprise appearance in the United Kingdom with musician Jeff Beck just days before it was handed out. "The jury gave me my life back. I am truly humbled," he said in a statement afterward. "The best is yet to come, and a new chapter has finally begun." Ms. Heard said the disappointment she felt in the outcome was beyond words, but offered the following: "I'm heartbroken that the mountain of evidence still was not enough to stand up to the disproportionate power, influence, and sway of my ex-husband. It sets back the idea that violence against women is to be taken seriously." Experts argue that Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard defamation case has produced a template for silencing survivors of abuse, regardless of the veracity. Amber Heard, dressed in a gray suit, stands in the witness box, while Johnny Depp, dressed in fox, is set in the foreground. "I'm even more disappointed with what this verdict means for other women. It is a setback. It sets back the clock to a time when a woman who spoke up and spoke out could be publicly shamed and humiliated." Mr. Depp was replaced in the Fantastic Beasts picture franchise, and a planned Pirates of the Caribbean sequel was put on hold after both performers claimed the other had harmed their careers. Ms. Heard said that her role in Aquaman 2 was drastically reduced. Millions of people have signed a Change.org petition demanding that the actor be removed from the film entirely. Mr. Depp's success, according to John Culhane, a law professor at Widener University, Delaware Law School, may not provide an immediate immediate cure for the actor's career. I don't necessarily think it's going to do the reputation repair that he was hoping for, just because the whole thing has been such a circus, he said. What are your thoughts regarding Heard's romance with Franco and the latest decision that was announced against her in court? Do share them in the comments below.